think I've met everyone here so far. I don't see too many new faces. If I haven't met you before, I'm Mr. Smith. I'm the college advisor for the 2015-2016 school year. And this is our first presentation in a series of presentations I'm giving, and they're called Tim Talks. Anyone get it? Thank you. So our first Tim Talk is about scholarships. Here's the outline of my talk. So I'll start with a review of financial aid versus scholarships. I'll move on to talking about different types of scholarships. I'll go over when and where to find scholarships. Then I'll provide advice for applying to scholarships, including some videos from real recipients of huge national scholarships. I'll give an overview of institutional scholarships with specific examples of colleges that give them. And I'll tell you a little bit about something called stacking. And then I'll end with a few warnings. It's just stuff to keep in mind. So first, here's a review of scholarships, financial aid, and loans. Scholarships are money given on the basis of a specific selection criteria, such as ability, academics, or talents. So for example, like your GPA, maybe your SAT scores, something like that, will usually get you scholarships to institutions. Financial aid is money given purely on the basis of income and your family data. Today we're going to focus on scholarships, but tomorrow night we're going to have financial aid night, which is also here. That's at 7 o'clock in the auditorium. So everyone should stop by, bring your parents. It would be really good information to know. So finally we have loans, and this is money provided to you that will accrue interest over time and must be repaid. In case you don't know what interest is a percentage of what you owe that is added to how much you have to pay, and so it kind of stacks up over time. You owe more and more money, more and more interest, and it has to be repaid as soon as you have to start repaying your loans. So the government actually provides two different types of loans. There are subsidized and unsubsidized loans. A subsidized loan is one that does not gain interest while you're in college. An unsubsidized loan will gain interest while you're in college. So the difference between those two types of loans is generally a few $1,000s. So you want to go as much as you can for subsidized loans. So these are the different types of scholarships you may run into. There are national, mid-sized, local, and actually a new thing called micro scholarships. And the difference is sort of arbitrary between these, but it's usually based on the amount of money that you get for the scholarship, or who can get it, maybe based on where you're located in the United States or in the state. So we'll start with large national scholarships. These are huge for the most part. These are several thousands of dollars up to full tuition. Some pay even more than full tuition. They may pay your room and board. And they're extremely competitive because students all over the country are applying to them. So in order to be competitive, you often need really good grades, excellent SAT scores, and you need high regard or recognition in your community. You might even need national recognition. So there are many different requirements for how to apply. Some require more than one essay. Some require intensive interviews, often with boards of review at the end, after they've kind of whittled down the number of applicants. You'll definitely, for any type of scholarship, you're going to have to apply to it, so you're going to have to fill out an application. And you may need several recommendations from people who know you very well. So some examples of these huge national scholarships are the Gates Millennium Scholarship, the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, Posse Scholars, and then there's several others. Then there are mid-sized scholarships, and these are generally $1,000 and up, and they're available to students across the state or nation. They're different than these large national scholarships in that they are usually for smaller amounts of money. Additionally, many are handled through a regional portion of a larger organization. So an example would be the American Legion Scholarship. It's provided through a specific chapter of the American Legion. Same thing goes with the PSECU Scholarship. There's branches of the PSECU throughout the state of Pennsylvania, but it's handled through a specific branch, hopefully located close to you. They often have a GPA cutoff. They look for intangible qualities in an applicant, such as leadership or responsibility. There's often a need-based component that favors students of modest income. and they are often based on location. So for example, only areas with an American Legion will have a Legion scholarship. They also often require a short essay, an application, a short recommendation. You might have to contact the organization that's giving it, and you might need a nomination from a teacher. So moving on, we have local scholarships, and these are usually a few $100s and more. Some are very easy to get because they have so few applicants, they're actually looking for people to apply to them. So these local scholarships, there's probably one that you can apply to and very easily get. So look for these local scholarships. Often they can be used towards costs other than just tuition, so they can be used towards room and board, maybe travel expenses, something like that. And they often have specific selection criteria, such as what your parent does, you or your parent's membership in a union or a club-specific chapter. There might be a GPA cutoff, and they also might look for these intangible qualities. So some examples of these local scholarships are the Sunnyway Market Scholarship, and the one at the high school, it's called the Pillars of Characters Count Scholarship. So keep your eyes out for those. And a few colleges offer something called micro scholarships. These are pretty new. And I like to think of these kind of as like the low-hanging fruit of scholarships. They run under $1,000, usually around $100 or $200. And you basically receive money for filling out your profile and having certain things on your profile. So if you get an A, you might get $100. If you play a sport, you might get $200. So to check to see if a college that you're looking at has these, I would create a profile on this website. It's called raise.me. So if you have a pen, you should write that down. So definitely check that out. That's a great source. There are also scholarship programs available at many colleges. And these are for selected students to attend a specific college, often to study a specific subject. A perfect example is Gettysburg College's Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Scholars Program. And the amount varies from college to college, but most often these programs you're looking at full tuition. Some will do room and board as well. And they often require a nomination, and there's also often a financial need component. So if you want to see if the college you're looking at is offering a scholarship program, just come see me. We can look through it together. So you may ask yourself, when should I apply? And the answer is, start time varies by types of scholarship. So the large national scholarships are usually started during the summer before senior year. They often, though, require relationships and academics that may have taken you your entire school career to get. So honestly, only apply to those if you have really close connections with people in your school and you're a very competitive applicant. Some mid-sized scholarships are available to you as juniors. An example would be the Lenfest Scholarship Foundation. If you haven't heard of that, a lot of information is going to be coming out about it soon, so just keep listening for that. Okay. You'll find that most scholarships available to apply to are open around December and also around early spring. So you tend to get more scholarships to apply to as you're getting your decisions to colleges. And so you'll get a lot of decisions about scholarships, and you'll get to see how they work with your financial aid. And so it'll be great. You'll be able to see if you're able to afford colleges around the same time. Some resources to check out include Greencastle Scholarship site. If you haven't been there before, you go to the Greencastle website. You click on the high school link. You go down, it's on the left side. It's called like Greencastle Scholarships or something like that. And I have started updating that pretty much weekly. And as we get into spring, I'll be updating it more and more, so just keep your eyes open for that. Some other great resources are FastWeb, Big Future. I mentioned raise.me for the micro scholarships, scholarships.com, and then there's a really weird one called Scholarship Monkey, and it's narrated by a monkey. It's really bizarre, so check that out. So I actually asked some real national scholarship winners for advice on applying to national scholarships, and this is what they had to say.
Hello, Greencastle. My name is Karen Miller, and I am a college advisor over at Columbia High School. And I graduated Franklin and Marshall College with a Posse scholarship. So Posse, for some of you who don't know, is a national scholarship that takes students from urban areas like New York, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, LA. It takes 10 students from those urban areas and sends them to great colleges and universities across the country like Franklin and Marshall College, and has them support each other throughout their time at F&M while becoming leaders on campus and graduating, becoming leaders in the workforce. And for this scholarship, you get 4 years full tuition. So it doesn't cover room and board, meal plan, stuff like that, but your classes are covered for, which is amazing. The interview process was unlike anything I'd ever been through ever. It was 3 rounds of interviews. Round 1 was a group interview with around 100 people. Round 2 was a personal one-on-one interview with myself and 2 Posse staff members. And round 3 was another group interview, but it was 20 students, and it had representatives from Franklin and Marshall College. It had Posse staff, and we were all vying for those 10 spots. So it was super intense. It was a lot of work beforehand, so I had to make sure that my college essay was done. I had to make sure that I had a resume, because the big thing about Posse is that it's about academics and leadership. So I had to be able to demonstrate and show my leadership capabilities through my resume. So if I could offer one piece of advice right now, it's get a resume, work on it, ask your teachers, ask your college advisor to help you with the resume process. But yeah, it was tons of work beforehand with preparing for how am I going to speak about myself, how am I going to talk about my accomplishments in a way that isn't conky but confident. So being strong enough and confident enough in what I had done and being able to speak about it truthfully and honestly and genuinely. But as I said, I had to have my college essay, I had to do an application, tons of interviews, resume, etc. So if I could give one piece of advice for a scholarship like this or one similar to this, I would say that you definitely want to get started early and ask for help. If you do it the night before, you're probably not going to get it, because students all across your county, all across the state, all across the country are applying for that scholarship. So you want to be able to stand out and have the best possible application, essay, etc. as possible. So do what you have to do beforehand, ask help, start early, and just wait for the money to roll in. And that's all I have to say. Enjoy the rest of your day.
So we also have more advice from another college advisor. We're having some issues with this video, but usually it flips over when I press play. So.
Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Gonzalez and I am a second-year college advisor at McCaskey High School. Today we are going to talk about scholarships. First of all, I am originally from Los Angeles, California, and I attended Franklin Marshall College. And I major in government and philosophy, yay! But today we're going to talk about that. How did I get there? Because scholarships played a big role. So first, one of the scholarships that I applied to was the ACER, Ronald McDonald Scholarship. I would recommend, if you want something smaller, $2,500, this will be great for you to do so. But one of the biggest scholarships that changed my life, first of all, I applied to like 6 of them. And one of the biggest scholarships that changed my life was the Gates Millennium Foundation. I recommend you all to apply, because not only is it 10 years of your education, but it's also an opportunity of a lifetime. This is the last year you can apply, and I suggest you go to www.gmsp.org for more information. But real quick, it is a national recognized scholarship. It is for 10 years. It doesn't matter if you're going to a junior college or a 4-year college. And also, the application will open August 1st. Yay! And you have to have a 3.3 GPA. And there's other requirements that you have to meet, but you also need a nominator. So find a nominator. You need to find a nominator, and also recommenders. 2 recommenders and 8 essays. Yes, 8 essays. Don't get scared. One of the essays was, what's your weakness? My weakness was AP Calculus, and my strength, you talk about your strengths, that was for me government. And another thing was about leadership. What are you doing in your community to change your community conditions? How about your school? What are you doing at school that's making an impact? You need to talk about it. Let's do it. Apply to Gates Millennium. And you too can be a Gates Scholar. I hope today was brief and short, but I just want to clarify that sticker prize can be scary. So when I was applying, it was $55, and I went to F&M for free thanks to my scholarship. So I hope I motivated you today. Have a nice day. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Patricia. So I also have some suggestions for you as well. So first, if a scholarship asks for something that doesn't apply to you, like a GPA or a very close recommendation, think about whether or not you want to apply to it. So for example, if a scholarship asks for applicants with a GPA of a 4.0 and you have a 3.2, it might not be feasible for you to get that scholarship. So keep that in mind when you're looking at scholarships. Also, don't reinvent the wheel. I say tweak it. You may be able to use the same essay for 10 scholarships. Just make sure you make those little changes that might be different from scholarship application to scholarship application. And then third, be smart about essays. Prepare for them, edit them, have others edit them, be yourself, and don't be boring. One of my favorite things to do actually is edit essays. I've spent literally hours with several Greencastle students, some in this room. So feel free to use me to edit your essays. All right. So aside from scholarships available to students from outside organizations, colleges offer scholarships internally as well. And the money is usually provided from their endowments or from their alums. The money typically goes towards tuition and fees. Some colleges will give a scholarship decision with your admissions decision, but other colleges require you to apply separately, so make sure you know going into it whether or not you have to apply separately. And not all colleges offer these. For example, the college I went to doesn't offer any institutional scholarships. They only do money for people who need the aid. So my first example is Dickinson College, which offers both scholarships and financial aid. It doesn't require an extra application for scholarships, and as you can see, it offers scholarships for between $5,000 and $20,000, and they can be renewed for all 4 years at Dickinson. So that can be like $80,000. I'll let you take a few moments to read through these. I provided an example. So say you have a 3.9 GPA and a really awesome resume, you could probably get between $10,000 and $20,000 per year at Dickinson College. So we have another example as well, and it's Temple University. And it has very similar scholarships and financial aid to Dickinson College. They offer both financial aid and scholarships. They don't require extra applications. They run from full tuition down to $3,000. And those are also renewable, and they also offer other scholarships for like individual things like what you're studying. For Temple, it's more of like a hard cutoff. So the student from the earlier example with a 3.9 GPA, their GPA is over 3.8. Say they had an SAT above 1420 between the math and the reading, that they would get the President's Scholarship, which would be full tuition plus admission to the Honors College. And so it goes from that full tuition down to $3,000. And many, many other schools also offer these institutional scholarships. Here's a few of them that are popular to students at Greencastle. This list is by no means exhaustive. There's tons of them, but Gettysburg College, Susquehanna, E-Town, Messiah, Bucknell. So stacking. Stacking is when scholarships and financial aid can both be used to afford college, as opposed to places where you can't use both. It's important to make sure your desired college will stack, and if they don't, you have to make sure that the college is still affordable. So the most common scenario that you'll run into is that you will be able to use both financial aid and scholarships until you meet your demonstrated need, and then they will cut off either your financial aid or your scholarships. And so, for the most part, in this scenario, you would wind up needing to pay some money to attend that college. Other times, your outside scholarships, so like those local scholarships that you've gotten quite a few of, they might cause your financial aid to decrease because they decrease your demonstrated need. So keep that in mind as well. And here's some other reminders. You should consider that scholarship eligibility may change if a college gets more money, or more or less applicants. Another thing to keep in mind, you want to avoid scholarship scams. So anytime a scholarship is asking you for money to apply to the scholarship, or money to create a profile or something like that, you want to avoid that. Because if a place is trying to give you free money to help you, you probably shouldn't have to pay for it. And third, remember to check to see if you have to apply separately for institutional scholarships. Because you don't want the deadline to pass to your college and think that you have applied for scholarships, and then it turns out you haven't and you get no aid, because that would be awful. So, in conclusion, get started now looking for these scholarships, especially the local ones, but expect to find more to apply to after the holidays and as you get your admissions decisions. Scholarships can really help you defray the cost of college. They can really decrease the cost. And there are many sources available to help you find them. There's scholarship search engines. The previous slide mentioned like FastWeb, Big Future, all of those. And then one of those sources is me. I can help you find scholarships. I can help you apply to scholarships, help you with your applications. So please stop by and see me. All right. Thank you.